everybody, welcome back to another episode of 5 Minute Gaming News, the show that may or may not be 5 minutes. Today in the news, I'm still sick, but I'm not sick enough to tell you that Netflix has finally listened to someone. I don't know if it was me, but I'm gonna take credit until I'm told otherwise. They are finally working on a way for you to play Netflix games, get this, on your TV. Yeah, that's right. Turns out all those Netflix games, you had to download an app to then go play on your phone when clearly they had a service that could have cloud gamed the shit out of it and just produced video games on your TV that you could have used any number of things to play, but they were like, we're stupid and don't get it. Finally, someone got it. A new free app, the Netflix Game Controller, is available on iOS at the moment, probably more later, and can be downloaded to play video games. Yeah, you guessed it, on your TV with Netflix. It's in beta, there's not much really it's connected to at the moment, but according to The Verge, the app's description says you'll be able to use it to play Netflix games on your TV. Coming soon to Netflix, the description says. Play games in your TV with the Netflix Game Controller. This Game Controller app pairs with your TV and allows you to play games on Netflix using your phone or mobile device. And there's only really one word for this. Finally! What took them so long? It is mind-boggling that they were like, we have a platform that millions of people use, that we've done gamified things on before, but you know what? For our big games like Valiant Hearts, the new one that's coming out, or Oxenfree 2, Lost Signals, games that are, real games, that they aren't gonna put those on their biggest platform seems stupid. I called it as stupid. I spent the last year and a half saying it's stupid. If we're gonna try and kill off and then reinvigorate cloud gaming on all these other services, it makes sense that Netflix would have been the place to just embrace it and bring people to it. And finally, maybe they're doing it. Honestly, we'll see exactly what kind of games people can play on there. Might be nothing. Might be like party games all the time. Play Snake and 20 questions. No one wants that, but right now we don't know when the controller's gonna roll out. We don't know what Netflix's plans are with it. And honestly, we don't know if it's gonna fall to the wayside, much like Google or Amazon's did. In other, and I'm gonna say bigger news, IGN posted a video, of course they did, that got everyone worked up. This time, about Baldur's Gate 3. So last week, IGN's Destin Legary released a video titled, Baldur's Gate 3 is causing some developers to panic, in which Legary tried to make the point that fans want polished, bug-free games with no microtransactions, and essentially asks the question, why can't more games be like that? Why can't we have more games like Baldur's Gate 3? And this, of course, was designed, as everything IGN does, for maximum clickbaiting. It got gamers and devs and journalists all jumping in the fray. And here's the thing. On the surface, absolutely agree. Polished, microtransaction-free, good games should be the goal of all games. Absolutely. We shouldn't be arguing about that. The nitty-gritty is where the arguments come in, and I think it's real rough, y'all. A lot of people have a lot of valid points, and also a lot of people are cuckoo bananas. Before we even jump in, just to set a base, the sentiment is valid, completely. The argument's a little flawed, because Baldur's Gate 3 has been in early access for, 3 years? And I don't know if you've played it. It's good. It's fun. I'm enjoying it tremendously, but it's got bugs, y'all. It's got plenty of bugs. It is not polished by any sort of means. And to say that this is like the new pinnacle of gaming, you're looking at it slanted. It is good and amazing, and I love it to death. But to say that it's this perfect beacon of gaming is, say it like this. It is a game that gamers want to play, because it is fun and lets gamers explore and experience in different ways, and it lets them sort of think outside the box without hurting them or penalizing them. It does all these things in a fun, interactive, and seemingly well-done way. That's it. That's all gamers really care about. It doesn't really need to be polished, so don't say it's polished. It's not. And then another problem that I have with the video is that he never really answers his own question, and instead just decides to quote tweet a few different game devs who defend the idea that some game devs are mad at Baldur's Gate 3 and don't think it should be an example, etc., which, that's on those game devs, right? If they don't think they can create quality, then all right, thanks for letting us know. And I don't know, just putting this out there, maybe a little solution. Instead of complaining about another dev's game and being like, oh, it's setting unreasonable expectations or whatever, maybe just don't tweet. maybe don't tweet and work on your own game and like, it's just Twitter or whatever the hell it is. This is a lesson I learned a long time ago. Sometimes, nah, I'm all right. I'll keep it to myself. And now not only has one of the developers in the IGN video received harassment, but then those developers who shared the thoughts on the video started to receive harassment and criticism. It amassed to the point where Brandon Sheffield of Insert Credit felt the need to share his thoughts on the Gary's approach by saying, the problem with IGN's video is its pure sensationalism. It poses itself as just asking questions when, if you actually ask the questions of the right people or even thought about the question a little bit, you could actually get answers. And that's the problem I have. A lot of you sent me this video and you were like, Jesse, check this out. Again, in spirit, completely agree. I think the idea of polished good games that don't charge us a bunch is and should be the goal of all video games. But what this video is capitalizing and sensationalizing a moment to get clicks for IGN, which is a thing IGN always does. And if it was real news, if it was a real video asking a question, they should have gone to Larian and been like, hey, how did you do this? How did you pull this off? They should have delved into why EA or Activision Blizzard or any of the many other gaming companies out there have sort of just fallen from grace because of microtransactions and all these different things, and looked into that and been like, look at where they used to be versus where they are now. Like, there's so many ways you could have gone about doing this. There's none of that. It's just asking a question, stirring the pot. Tensions continue to grow between devs and video game players, purchasers, and it's been like that for years. But the real culprit behind all this, which we should all acknowledge and just repeat to ourselves as a little mantra, it's the executives at the top. Those are the people screwing all of us over, and yet we're fighting with each other. What are we doing, y'all? What are we doing? Speaking of what are you doing, this week, hopefully you'll be playing one of these new releases. What do you get when you combine inspirations from Jet Set Radio Future and the city of Amsterdam? Well, you get Bomb Rush Cyberfunk. Releasing this Friday, it's a kinetic adventure game where you'll bike, skate, dance, and tag your way across New Amsterdam, all the while taking down other crews and avoiding the cops along the way. So if you've been wanting to scratch that Jet Set Radio itch, be sure to keep an eye out for Bomb Rush Cyberfunk. And then, also releasing on Friday, it's Sumo Digital's The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the latest addition to the asymmetrical horror genre. And yes, it looks as brutal and ruthless as its namesake film. As a victim, it's up to you to stealth and scavenge what you need in order to make your escape. Meanwhile, as the Slaughter family, you'll be tasked with finding and stopping your guests from ever escaping. I'm definitely curious how the Texas Chainsaw Massacre stands up compared to its asymmetrical horror siblings, but this one looks pretty wild. Anyway, that's it. Thanks so much. I'm going to stop talking now because my nose is stuffed up and my throat hurts. And I'll see you all tomorrow for another episode of 5 Minute Gaming News.